Okay, if the board members are ready, we're going to start the committee of the whole meeting. I don't think I got all those. Okay, good evening. The hour being 7:01 p.m. on September 11th, 2023. I'd like to call to order the committee of the whole meeting. Bridget, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Here.
Trustee Cote?
Here.
Trustee Hendricks?
Here.
Trustee Niramatsu?
Here.
Trustee Gilhooly?
Here.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Here.
And President Garvey.
Here. Thank you. The first item we have up for discussion is a case from the Planning and Zoning, case 23-11, a request for a variance from Section 62-75 bulk yard and space requirements to construct a new garage at 3106 Oak Avenue. As usual, we have a very detailed packet in our board packet, but I'm going to ask our village planner, Kate Portillo, to make a presentation to the board.
Thank you, President Garvey and honorable trustees. Case 2311 is regarding 3106 Oak Avenue. This is a single-family residence in the A. The owners, Jesse and Rita Cavazos, applied for a building permit to renovate and construct a new second-floor frame addition to the existing building this past March. So that building permit is active. The property, the reason I've paused on the rear of the property is because this request is to construct a new garage on the site. So the maximum building coverage for the A zoning district is 30%. This lot is substandard at 3,770 square feet and 30 feet wide. And so code states that building coverage, which is the primary structure, as well as the accessory garage structure, are allowed to take up 30% of the property, and the footprint of the single-family residence alone leaves plus or minus 10 feet to construct a garage. So the applicant went before the Planning and Zoning Commission on August 27th, and they are requesting to build a 440 square foot garage, which would bring the building coverage up to 40.7%, but the lot itself, which would be the primary structure, the proposed garage structure, as well as the existing flat work, would still be within the maximum developable land on the lot at 54.22%. Total coverage, still leaving 45.78% green space. So on August 24th, the Planning and Zoning Commission deliberated, and they voted unanimously to recommend this request to the board. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board? And is there anyone in the audience that's here tonight to comment on this particular issue? Okay.
The property owner is present, but only to answer your questions, I believe.
Yeah. All right. As our usual practice, we'll give the board 2 weeks to review the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff report, and we'll put this up for the September 25th meeting. Thank you. Okay, the last item we have under regular business is a discussion of a staff recommendation to apply for the 2023 Illinois Safe Routes to School program in the amount of $250,000. Again, we have a detailed memo, but Derek, you want to make a brief kind of summary of the recommendation and what the program's about?
Sure. So we're coming to you tonight with another grant opportunity. In my opinion, this is a really good grant opportunity, particularly for this cycle. It's the Safe Routes to School program, which, amongst other things, funds the construction costs for filling in gaps in a sidewalk system and also repairs to a sidewalk squares within the sidewalk system, as long as they're within 2 miles of a school. For Brookfield, that really covers our entire sidewalk system. We've applied for this in the past and had good success, one, obtaining the grant, but also being able to fill in some of our sidewalk gaps, and it helps us be able to do more sidewalk repairs than we are able to get to with our annual program. So we've recommended 6 or 7 different gaps that have been identified in the village's active transportation plan. And we feel that we've actually went out in the field and we feel that those would be good gaps for the village to be able to fill in, and not too much of a disturbance on the existing properties. And then we are recommending to apply for the maximum $250,000, with the remaining portion of the funding used towards repairs to sidewalk within the areas of the school. This year, it's typically a 80-20 grant, which means 80% federal funding and a 20% local match. This year, the program was able to obtain some state funding, so there is no local match. It's a 100% of construction and construction engineering. However, design engineering and phase 1 engineering are not eligible, so the village would have to pay for that. The estimated cost for that phase 1 and phase 2 engineering is $35,000. The grant application is due October 2nd, and if the board gives approval to move forward with it, we would at the next meeting ask for a resolution in support of the application.
Thank you, Derek. Any questions or comments from the board?
I have a question. Included in the grant application is different types of activities and projects, some infrastructure, some non-infrastructure. Are there conversations happening with the leadership of some of the schools to look into what some of their wants and needs are in the areas directly around the schools? For instance, at S.E. Gross, right, is what is it, Lincoln and Maple there?
Mhm.
There is a flashing light that you can press the button and cross. And I think there's some temporary, things that have been put in the middle of the street, like on the lines, on the painted lines, to implicate that it is a crossing. Being a frequent crosser there, even using the light, I have stood there and seen multiple cars go through red lights as you stand there and wait to cross. So I just wonder if, with the conversations going around with the schools to help identify, because that's obviously very close to the school.
Sure.
And it doesn't necessarily mean sidewalk improvements, but there's be other opportunities there maybe, just as an example.
Part of this, we have not met with the various schools. That's something that could be done. I don't know if we'd be able to do it in time for this application. It does come around every couple of years, so we could meet with them. We did meet with Tim, Public Works and Community Development, as we looked at the various types of projects that we could do, and we felt the sidewalk was the way to proceed this year. But that's a good suggestion, maybe something we have to contact the schools. They provide some input and data that goes into the surveys, so maybe as part of that, we could reach out to them as part of the next application.
Okay. Yeah, I know, like during the school days, or in the mornings, there are crossing guards, a lot of these key locations, but there's lots of other after-school activities and evening activities, and even when the village hosts, sporting events at some of these schools, that there's no crossing guards there, so they just have to kind of wing it.
I wondered too if the, sorry, I'm off. If there was any conversation with Cycle Brookfield, because I remember they've talked a number of times about doing some sort of safe bike ride to school event day. I don't know that they have funding to do that, or if they also are trying to apply for this grant in a different way, but it might just be worth coordinating or having a conversation if, I think it looked like $2,500 was toward some of those types of events. It's a small amount, but could be something that would support some more events related to that as well.
Can definitely reach out to Cycle Brookfield.
I just wanted to say I agree with Nicole's point here. I think I've had parents reach out to me who, my kids are at Congress Park, we're in the Congress Park boundary lines, and they have a lot of trouble crossing Ogden. And there is one crosswalk between Dubois and Maple on Raymond with, a crosswalk, but no, and I think there's a sign, but there's no flashing sign. I know kids have a lot of trouble crossing. There's no crossing guard to cross Ogden to get to Congress Park School. And I know that parents have reached out to the principal at Congress Park to talk to the village about potentially partnering to figure out how to get students safely across. I think there are more families and more students there too, whereas maybe there haven't been in the past as many. So I would strongly encourage reaching out to principals and district leadership.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Chief Carvilla is sitting in the back of the room paying very deep attention. It seems like this is something, this grant application is due October 6th, I think, as Derek said, so it might be late in the game to recraft a grant application here, but those are topics that are very important. I know you're very familiar with the area and the crosswalk at Grand by your house. We put in these crosswalks and the signs, and some of it's public education, but there can also be law enforcement involvement or steps to take there. I know Chief is, aware of these situations, but maybe he has some new suggestions going forward, what we could do in the interim. So
Yeah, I agree. I have, which is one more thing, Derek, which is, as you're looking to make sidewalk improvements, are you considering in this any kind of like bump outs or anything like that can help address or slow, traffic as in key crossing areas for these safe crossings? So the corner that you're talking about, other things that I've noticed just going that way frequently is students, yes, because anybody on north of Ogden there, any of those kids have to cross there to get to school, and it is a very busy spot. I also noticed that I think there is somebody on the north side that either needs to go to the north side for services or goes to the other side that's in a wheelchair. And I see them with a caregiver on that side of the street a lot, and I just see cars whizzing by them. And it seems like there just needs to be a nice, safe way for them just even to wait for the light in order to cross. That I just wonder if there's something infrastructure-wise to create almost like a safer waiting area before people cross. So I don't know if you're just talking about making, cleaning up the sidewalks, making sure there's no big, cracks and things like that, or if we're really talking about creating safe spaces for people to wait before they cross.
Yeah, what we've proposed with what we presented tonight was filling in sidewalk gaps, so not the bump outs and the traffic calming and stuff like that. It sounds to me from the board's comments, though, we can go back, meet with the schools. I don't know that we need a resolution in 2 weeks. I don't know.
Right.
But
We'll see.
regardless of the grant, what I'm kind of hearing is there may be a need for this, that we should have some sort of meeting with the principals and see if there are some school crossings that can be improved and made safer. That's
I just have one more question about the map on the last page and how you prioritized these particular sections. I don't remember reading, maybe it was in there.
how we selected the sidewalk
7,
gaps and which
yeah.
we'd fill in, sure.
Yeah.
So we based it on the active transportation plan, and it identifies all of the sidewalk gaps within the village. They didn't really prioritize them. That wasn't what their mission was when they did that. We went out and looked at them. There are some of these. We had one 2 or 3 years ago that it was up on the north side on 29th Street where there was one identified. We actually proposed to fill it in as part of the street improvement project, but it was very close to the homes. The residents really rose up against it. And quite frankly, there wasn't going to be that much utilization in that area way up on 29th. If you know that area, 29th Forest to Prairie, there's not that much pedestrian traffic other than people on the block. So bottom line, how did we prioritize these? We looked at those that wouldn't impact the residences we thought would have a good chance of being embraced by the residents if we were to construct that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we'll put this resolution up for the meeting of September 25th. Then again, if anyone is in questions, they can reach out to staff or Derek. Derek, thank you for the presentation. Okay, that ends the items we've up for discussion under regular business. I'll open it up again to public comment. Is there anyone on the right side that would like to make any public comment? Yes, if you could please come up to the microphone and.
Good evening. My name is Josue Cuevas. I live in 3418 Arden Avenue. Nicole, how you pronounce your last name? Sorry.
Gilhooly.
Gilhooly, and also Ms. Narimatsu. I agree with you about the stop sign flashing. In many occasions, I have witnessed, especially in Arden Avenue and Washington Avenue, that unfortunately, drivers, they don't stop. They just go through. I will basically have a conversation tomorrow with the principal at the school because I think it's very important to involve the community when these grants are available. So I think for educational purposes, if there's anything that we can do as parents, if there's a petition that we can bring to the board, because I think that's a very important topic for the safety of our kids. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on the side? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to give a quick thank you from Congressman Garcia's office and team, and I just wanted to give a quick thank you to the Board of Trustees and the village that helped us have the town hall with the elected officials, and thank you for welcoming me into the village meetings and for constant communication with the village and and the federal level, and I'm honored to be here, being that connection between Congressman Garcia's office and the village. So I just wanted to thank you all for offering that. Thank
you. You've been very helpful, and you've been reaching out, and you kind of initiated a lot of the contact. So we look forward to working on other things with you going forward. And it was a very exciting night. A lot of people left here very excited. So I think it was a great thing, and we'll look forward for other opportunities to work together in the future. So
It was a pleasure.
thank you so much for coming out. Is there anyone on this side that has any comment at this time? I was just going to note, it seems very strange not to have Bob Uphew sitting in the audience. He's probably listening online, so Bob, I know you're probably listening online, so we miss you, Bob. That ends the items and public comments, so at this point at 7:18, I'd entertain a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss purchase or lease of real property for the village's use.
So moved.
Second.
The motion to go into executive session was made by Trustee Cote, second by Trustee Kaluzny. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Niramatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooly?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.